Good morning. We've got a lot of breaking news for you today. It's a lot to talk about. Some crazy stuff's been happening. Stuff's happening right now. We're going to have to keep an eye on it and come back to it. But let's just dig right into it. Well, we got some breaking news out of Wisconsin. Judge Hannah Dugan has been arrested. Yeah. this is we don't have a lot of details on it. This is just happening not that long ago. But Kash Patel has ordered the arrest, and she has been arrested. A circuit court judge, Judge Hannah Dugan, for obstructing justice, I guess. They're accusing her of misdirecting agents when they were there to arrest someone or interfering. We don't know exactly what they're trying to do here, but this isn't going to fly. This isn't going to fly. This was a tactical error, a horrible mistake. The judiciary has already got its back up about the Trump administration. And this is just going to cement for any judges that were waffling, trying to find a way to, save face for Trump and the Trump regime. This is just going to push them over the top. They are. God, this was dumb. Oh my God, this was dumb. And yeah, it's not even one of those things where like they're flexing muscle and everybody's scared and no, this was just dumb. You have to imagine. I talked about this before. You've got folks that are on both sides of issues, Democrats, Republicans. But if you attack the United States of America, it's just galvanizes everybody. Everybody puts down their differences. Everybody stops fighting, stops arguing, and we address the threat. That is what Kash Patel stupidly just did with the judiciary. The judiciary had a whole gambit of folks in it, different judges, all the way from Alito, who's nothing but a Republican political operative, all the way over to, you've got far left liberal Democrat judges. That are just as partisan in the other direction. And in between, you've got a whole gambit of judges, some conservative, some liberal, some whatever, but, in the middle, most of them just follow the law. Well, those leaning towards Trump have been trying to find some way to uphold the law, yet show deference to their party and that's great. Kash Patel. I love that. Show some deference to their party and basically let Trump save face going through this. And that's over. That's over. This is going to be one of those moments that galvanizes everyone together. You're going to get nothing but a handful of outliers now that will cotton to Trump or whatever. They're going to take this as a direct threat and a direct challenge, and they're going to go at this like rabid dogs. They are. They're just. This was I can't tell you how politically stupid this was. And I told you, folks, that the theme for today is Trump's over. It is. He's a lame duck president who has no honeymoon period because they've been so stupid. He is the lamest of lame ducks now. I mean, you had some people that like bent the knee to him, but like Harvard is now saying, no, look, sue us. We'll do this. We'll go to the mat with you. And one instance after another, people have been standing up and saying, no, look, man, we're going to follow the law. You're not going to destroy our institutions. The 2025 project in that respect has failed. And this is what we're facing. Trump's all of his approval ratings are in the toilet. He's folded on China. They're backpedaling as fast as they can. He looks like a clown in a circus on a unicycle. He's backpedaling so damn hard. Just humiliated. We're going to talk about this. He just humiliated himself in front of the Norwegian Prime Minister, Prime Minister Støre. He just, it's bad, folks. I mean, it is bad. And then they go do something like this, which literally just cuts off their only lifeline in the judiciary. This is pouring gasoline on the fire of an already burning house. Mr. Knudsen in the house. With Trump's attack on research and education, Norway is recruiting later scientists, highly educated people from USA. Get ready for brain drain. It's happening. It's happening already. We were talking about that in the last show, man. It is happening already. They're recruiting our scientists. But yeah, folks, they wanted to seem tough. I haven't seen or heard anybody that has looked at this that hasn't said, you're an idiot. You are an idiot. I mean, Kash Patel's always been a moron, and he's always been a sycophant, and he wants to seem tough. Nobody's scared of Kash Patel. Nobody. This judge is going to decimate them in court. Ella Deshane, thanks again for these moments of sanity. Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. We got a lot to talk about. We really do, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on with Judge Dugan. But right now, like I said, this is pretty fresh. I want to get all of the facts and give her a chance to respond. It's going to be interesting, folks. I guarantee you. I can't stress enough. God, this was dumb. Oh my God. Sherry Edwards, thanks for being here. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Delva's house. I hear you, brother. Thanks for supporting the show. I'm trying to find a comment I saw earlier. I can't find it. Well, anyways, let's dig into it. Y'all remember Jack Teixeira? Jack Teixeira. He was the airman that leaked classified data, classified documents on a chat. Basically, gamers use. He was trying to impress his friends. And he released some. He did. He released some damaging stuff. He did. But y'all remember this story. It was a huge story. He got 15 years in prison. You saw this image all over the news, and this is one of the things I want to just stop for a second and talk about the corporate news media for a second. This is the image that you got of Jack Teixeira. This is the one they kept showing. He was an airman in the National Guard. Y'all remember this, right? Y'all, what I'm talking about? Y'all remember seeing this image? Yeah, no, this is not. This is a very young Jack Teixeira. Glenna, I appreciate you. Most people don't know what Discord is, but yeah, you're right. It was Discord. A bunch of gamers hang out there, and he wanted to impress his friends. This is his old ROTC picture of Jack Teixeira. That is not what Jack Teixeira looks like. This is Jack Teixeira. You're going to laugh when you see this is Jack Teixeira. This is the guy doing 15 years. Has anybody in the corporate media showed you this picture? Anybody? No, this is what the man really looks like. And he's not aging well. He's in his early 20s, but he is not aging well. The reason I'm talking about Jack Teixeira is the kind of things he shared, right? He shared situational reports where our intelligence talked about Russia was running out of ammunition. He shared a report that talked about Egypt selling munitions to Russia because they were running out of munitions in the Ukraine war. I mean, it was damaging stuff. I mean, because the stuff he reported could reveal means, it could reveal operatives, it could reveal. I mean, that's why he got 15 years, folks. But it wasn't battle plans. It wasn't. While it was contemporary, they were talking about things that were really happening in the Ukraine war. It wasn't like it happened an hour ago, right? ET says, I'm hearing that the Big Ten is putting together some form of mutual defense pact that if one gets attacked, all will pile on to help them. Yeah, they are. They are. Talking about Trump going after universities and things like the Big Ten have, y'all hear about that in college football and stuff all the time. The Big Ten have created a mutual defense pact so that if the Trump administration goes after any of them, they will all fund defenses and work together to fight the Trump administration. Yeah, right. Chelsea Manning. Y'all remember Chelsea Manning? I remember reality winner. What, 5 years she spent in jail? I want you to think about what they did versus Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is sharing classified data. We've talked about it before, and I told you it's just going to keep coming out and keep coming out and keep coming out and keep coming out. Pete Hegseth, not only did he share classified data over his personal cell phone, not only did he engage in conversations on a free app, not only did he break the law in federal record retention laws because they're intentionally using this app because it deletes communications. I told you it was just going to keep dripping and dripping and dripping. And these morons thought they were going to fire their way out of this. They just started firing people at the Pentagon. That doesn't work. That doesn't work because they already know what they know. All you're doing if you fire somebody is you're giving them cause to sell their story. You're pissing them off. And that's exactly what happened. That's why I told you this SIGNALGATE thing is going to be drip after drip after drip after drip after drip. It's going to be new report after new report, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse because Pete Hegseth is a drunk moron running an organization that requires competence to run, which he does not have. So it's going to be one failure after another failure after another failure. This is today's headline. Pete Hegseth reportedly had unsecured office internet line to connect to Signal. Now, if you work in OPSEC, operational security, you know how horrible that headline is. But if you're just a layperson, let me explain to you why this is so bad and what that means. Now, to begin with, the Pentagon has 2 authorized accesses to the internet. 2. One is highly secured and monitored and regulated that deals with classified information. The other one, and I'm not flipping you off there, the other one is for unclassified information. That's it. Those are your options in the Pentagon because of security protocols. And that's the bare minimum. It goes up from there. Y'all know what a SCIF is? A secured compartmentalized information facility, a SCIF, one of these. They're highly controlled. You can't bring a phone into one of these. You can't bring electronic devices in. You can't bring your laptop. They look at everything. These are spy-proof boxes, basically, where you can hold conversations and nobody can get a hold of it. Every major intelligence operation runs SCIFs. They have SCIFs. Ours are incredibly sophisticated. The Office of the Secretary of Defense is treated like a SCIF because of the conversations that happen in that office. You cannot, that portion of the Pentagon, you can't get a cell phone signal. They block them. You're not allowed to carry your cell phone into the Secretary of Defense's office. Period. You're not. No electronic devices, no computers, no anything, because of the conversations that happen in that office. The incredibly high level classified information that runs through that office. They have Pentagon security protocols in place. Following me? Sky Comet, the anime vampire. Holy crap, Pete Hegseth is going to get someone killed. He's more of a blabbermouth than my gossipy cousin. Yeah, that's where we're going with this, folks. And I'm just trying to set the stage for you. You know, you got Jack Teixeira that tried to impress some buddies in a game Discord chat, sharing some information. You got Pete Hegseth that had not one, not two, but 3 computers in his office, which he is not supposed to have. They're not supposed to be there. Bad, right? I mean, that's bad. That's bad, right? They have facilities for that. Folks, we spend a lot of money to give this man all the facilities he needs. If he needs a computer, right down the hall, buddy. All the computers you could ever want, right down the hall. Now, brought him into his office, which is a no-no. How could it be worse? One of them, the Pentagon didn't own. He brought in his own personal computer. Then had what they call in operational security, IT technicians call these dirty lines. I told you there are 2 lines of communication to the internet that are secured. Anything that doesn't run through those protocols, they call a dirty line, because hackers absolutely can get into them. They absolutely look for them. I guarantee you, Russia and even our allies, they keep track of every bit of communication that comes out of the general set of IP addresses in that area. Pete Hegseth takes and puts an unsecured line into the office of the Secretary of Defense so that he can download signal onto his personal computer that he picked up and carried into that office, which he is not supposed to have, and engage in conversations with, including classified information like when our F-18s are going to be taking off from their carriers to carry out strike missions. Yeah. It keeps getting worse. Has that conversation, which is absolutely classified, and they're lying and saying it's not classified. It's not classified. It's not classified. Had that conversation with his wife, with his brother, and his personal attorney in the Signal chat. Are you remembering Jack Teixeira, who just wanted to impress some gamer buddies and shared information like a lot of Russians were dying and Russia was running out of ammunition? Pete Hegseth is talking about when our planes are leaving the carrier. On a personal computer that he's brought into an area that he's not even supposed to have an authorized computer in. sets up a dirty line, downloads Signal into the Pentagon. And then here's the cherry on top. The reason they're using Signal is it deletes the communications. So we can't tell what the Russian in the group chat was telling Pete Hegseth. We can't recover that data. Even though there are federal records retention laws that tell them you have to keep everything so that we can check on you. Yeah, the bosses get checked on in our government. That's normal. That's the way it works. You have to, by law, retain your communications. No, he again sets up a dirty line on an unauthorized computer in the office of the Secretary of Defense, which is a highly compartmentalized, controlled facility with very stringent security protocols, then has conversations with people that don't have security clearances about battle plans. Then fires the people that squealed on him. Told you, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. Michelle Beachy, my anger against the Congress who approved him is unmeasurable. The Republicans should have known better. It didn't have to be this way. Linda Orndorff, lock him up. Amen. Amen. Tashir's doing 15 years. Folks, the Pentagon's compromised. It's compromised. Completely compromised. And there are incredibly important things going on. Republicans are why, Dennis and Jan. Republicans are why. They will obstruct everything. They're about being Republicans, not Americans. They don't care. They don't care. Trump can do anything. The Republicans are not going to help us keep our institutions and fight things like, I don't know, Kash Patel arresting a judge. No, they're not going to do that. That's what I'm talking about. Elect Democrats and let's lock those sumbitches up. That's what I'm talking about. Sean Parnell, the Pentagon's chief spokesman, this is the kind of shit that's happening. This is why I say the deep state is real, that you really have people in our government institutions that are part of a deep state. You know, they've always talked about that and accused us of having a deep state, which was never there. Democrats follow the freaking law. When they're in office, they follow the law. When they're investigated, they cooperate. But we're really finding out that there is a Republican deep state. There really is. The spokesman, Pentagon chief spokesperson, Sean Parnell, said, we can confirm that the secretary has never used and does not currently use Signal on his government computer. Nobody ever accused him of that. He brought in his own personal computer into a secured, compartmentalized office that blocks cell phone signals, installed a dirty line, and put Signal on that. He used it on his personal cell phone. A free freaking app. There's a reason the Pentagon hasn't approved it for anything, because it's garbage when it comes to intelligence gathering. Sure, it'll keep your wife from finding out that you've got a Grindr account that you don't want her to know about, that you secretly like big hairy guys. Yeah, Signal's great for that. And I say that because Republicans, every single time, the LGBTQ plus hating Republicans, every single time they have a big convention, CPAC or national convention or whatever, they blow Grindr up. It goes down. It collapses because they're hypocrites. Hypocrites. But folks, this is important because there are things that are going on that are serious. And I'm not just talking about the economy where, you've got the Dow again struggling again today. We're talking about serious problems. We're talking about trade relations with China. China, folks, and they're keep in mind, everybody knows everything we're thinking. Everybody knows everything that we're thinking because of Pete Hegseth. And he's not the only one. These signal chats where they're violating record retention laws, that's everybody in the Trump regime. So you just have to assume everybody knows everything. And the Chinese are part of everybody. And I got to tell you, folks, they have Donald Trump just, I don't even know the right words. I mean, he's just pathetically backpedaling as hard as he can about the tariffs. But the Chinese, they're saying that there are no negotiations. None whatsoever. They want apologies. They want, they're demanding that the Trump regime drop all the tariffs before they'll even talk about trade negotiations. Meanwhile, you've got Donald Trump doing this. Just how humiliating this is, because this was in front of Prime Minister Stohr, sitting at the table with him in a meeting about trade negotiations with Norway. This happened.
Question on China. Can you clarify with whom the U.S. is speaking with China? They're saying it's fake news that trade talks are happening.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China. And so I think.
You know who doesn't know that they're meeting? China. Because China has come out forcefully and said, this is bullshit. And everybody knew it was the second he said it. Because they said, who had meetings? Well, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you. But we had the beautiful meetings, the most important meetings. They were just, the best meetings. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister of Norway is sitting across the table from him, listening to this. I can't tell you. Maybe we'll tell you later who was in the meetings. You know who knows there were no freaking meetings? The Prime Minister of Norway knows that there were no trade meetings. They know that just how weak and foolish and stupid this president. Look at him. He looks like he's about to die. I mean, he looks old and tired and weak. And what a pathetic lie. We had meetings this morning. Who had meetings? Oh, I can't tell you. I can't tell you that. But it was a beautiful meeting. Best meeting. The people are saying it was the best meeting anyone has ever had. One more time. I hate to hear his voice too. Listen to what he says about, I can't tell you.
Question on China. Can you clarify with whom the U.S. is speaking with China? They're saying it's fake news that trade talks are happening.
Well, they had a meeting this morning, so I can't tell you. It doesn't matter who they is. We may reveal it later, but they had meetings this morning, and we've been meeting with China. And so I think you have, Jeff, as usual, I think you have your reporting wrong.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have his reporting wrong. And the Chinese have been very, very clear about this. Trump asserts trade talks with China are underway after Beijing denies any ongoing negotiations. So China responded with this. China says, first of all, there are no negotiations, but they also said, cancel all unilateral tariffs if you want to talk to us. Meanwhile, the Dow is struggling again today because China has brought receipts. They have laid out their plan going forward on how they are going to engage in trade and what they're going to do economically, leaving these tariffs in place. Trump is a moron. He is a moron. You know, he thought he could stand there and say, we've got the cards. They've got no cards. We're strong. And pretend things were, I just live in a fantasy land. Like that reality wasn't ever going to come punch him in the face. Lisa Phillips, thanks for supporting the show. I appreciate it. I can't do it without you, folks. I can't. And yes, he is an idiot, Kathleen Matthews. He is a complete idiot. But folks, it's just one thing after another. I've told you, this is over. This is over. He is the lamest of lame ducks. Everything look, I get it. People were upset. People were panicked. People were like, what are we going to do? And this, that, and the other. It's like today, they're trying to cause panic again. This whole Kash Patel thing, they're trying to cause panic again. The response has been, really, dude? Really? Because they know they're going to lose. And I told you, it's going to take time. It's going to have to roll through the courts, but nobody's going to just give up. Nobody. They're not going to win this. They really thought they would do all of this crap as fast as possible. Hell, you've got the richest man on earth is not the richest man on earth anymore. His company is staring directly at bankruptcy as a result of this. But these people who thought they were so smart thought that they were just going to be able to push this through, and we were going to be so impressed that everybody was just going to let it happen. And I told you that's not going to happen. The judiciary is not going to up and just give up its power. It's not. You've got Republicans in Congress that are willing to. Absolutely. Republicans are nothing but whores. Lay back. Give me my campaign check. Let me drop my britches for you. Anything you want to do, go ahead. They're whores. They are. But the judiciary? No, they're not going to give up their power. They aren't. Not even the Republicans in the judiciary are. So I knew this was not going to succeed. And I kept telling you, it's taking time. Well, time is here because it's one thing after another where they keep getting punched in the face. They keep losing in court. You know, this is Politico, folks. The guy that runs Politico is a Trump sycophant. He can tell you what Trump's taint tastes like. He can. Trio of rulings freezes Trump's anti-DEI directives for schools. I mean, it's just one thing after another. They're just losing. Skeet Sayer, the U.S. government is run by characters from Lord of the Flies. There really are some really, really weak-kneed people. And again, folks, never think just because I tell you that he is weak and stupid and imbecilic that they can't do damage. They can do damage. They can. But they're going to lose. They're going to lose. Jan Reckenberg, Night of the Long Knives hits DeSantis. Yeah. Ron is in trouble in Florida. He is in trouble in Florida. People have had enough. People have had enough with Trump too, because he is so damn weak. Supposed to be having these trade negotiations where Trump's tough, going to tell Russia and Ukraine, knock it off. You know, we're going to tell them how it's done, right? We're going to tell how. And then what did Vladimir Putin do? humiliated Trump. Bombs Kyiv when Trump is supposed to be having his moment where he says, "Oh, I got this. We're gonna fix this. We're gonna broker a deal." Putin just humiliates him and bombs Kyiv right in the middle of it. And what does Trump do? He tweets to him. He sends him a tweet. I am not happy with Russian strikes on Kyiv. Not necessary. Very bad timing. Vladimir, stop. Stop. Don't you know 5,000 soldiers a week are dying? Your soldiers are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. Folks, that's what we look like. Frickin' morons. Frickin' morons. He looks so... He looks like he's going to die any day. He's weak. He's stupid. He says childish lies in front of important people like the Prime Minister of Norway, someone that should be shown respect, sits there and looks like a fool. And I mean it, folks. Just because he's weak, ineffectual, stupid, all of that doesn't mean he can't do damage. Folks, this is going on. This is going on. This is oil prices right now. And this all ties in with Ukraine. So I'm going to have to pull some dots together. So stick with me here, okay? These are oil prices right now. They're down to about $62 a barrel, down from $83 a barrel just a year ago. All right? This is important. Donald Trump and his stupidity has created a situation for Vladimir Putin that is beyond dangerous. Now, I keep telling you, just because he's weak and ineffectual doesn't mean he can't do damage. Folks, he has put us in an incredibly dangerous situation. He has put control over our oil markets in the hands of Vladimir Putin. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Let me explain the situation that Donald Trump has created. And I'm going to have to give you some background information, and then we'll tie it all together in the end, okay? First of all, Putin was on his deathbed. He was. Everybody saw that the Russian military is a joke. We saw that the corruption, the theft, they tried to go into battle with vehicles that the tires were exploding on and falling apart on because the money that was supposed to be spent on maintenance to buy new tires and have new tires put on that got stolen. So their military was just a joke, and Ukraine is just decimating them on the battlefield because they're getting support from Western and training from Western militaries. The disparity between Russian military and Russian military tactics and Western militaries and Western military tactics has just been laid bare. It just has. Then on top of it, thanks, Lonnie. I appreciate you for supporting the show, man. I really do. Then on top of that, economically, Putin has just been crushed by this. The sanctions that we Democrats put on him were crippling. Putin was a dead man. He really was. Somebody was going to kill him. And in comes Donnie. In comes Donnie. 1 second. So oil prices have been plummeting. Donnie implements tariffs, which is bad for the economy, which is bad for oil prices. And oil prices have fallen to the point that domestic producers are starting to have problems. And this is why. Just a little background information. This is the Permian Basin, folks. When we talk about Texas tea and where our oil comes from, this is the Permian Basin. This is the Delaware Basin, which is part of the Permian Basin. The Delaware Basin is significant because that is where we get our oil that has the lowest floor. What I mean by floor and what that means is, and everybody get it. I want to pull the map down. Everybody see what I'm talking about? The Delaware Basin here and the Permian Basin. That oil is the absolute cheapest. There's what you call the break-even point. There's a price point in which you start to make money on oil. It is the floor for pricing. Below that, you're losing money. Now, I've told you before the concept that different places that get oil, that drill and produce oil, have different costs involved. The absolute cheapest is the Saudis. They use Chinese steel, Chinese labor. They basically indentured servitude out in their oil fields. Whereas here in the United States, roughnecks make bank. They make good money. So the cost of extracting the oil is different in different places. Well, it's different even right here in the United States. This is the Bakken formation. Y'all have heard of the Bakken shale field. It's part of the Williston Basin. This is North Dakota, Montana, South Dakota. This is what they call the shale fields. And it's more expensive to extract oil in this area than it is to extract oil in West Texas. Now, it's complicated. But I'll just give you the Cliff's Notes version of it. Here in West Texas, we've been drilling for a long time. There are rail lines to go right out into the Permian Basin. You can get your steel delivered, damn near to your well before you have to put it on a truck. Energy prices are cheap. Labor's cheap. Everything that makes drilling attractive is happening in West Texas. In the Bakken region, not so much. You got a frack. You've got it's a pretty desolate area, and it doesn't have the development that the Permian Basin does. It's more expensive. You're getting the idea, right? It's just more expensive to drill and extract oil there. So to break even, or the floor on Bakken oil, is some of the most expensive in the country. And we're getting near that point. And folks are already starting to sound the alarms. This has happened. 1 second, let me find it. I like to bring receipts. Where is it? There you go. American shale chief Brian Sheffield. He's the son of Pioneer Energy's Scott Sheffield. When it comes to shale, he's the expert, man. He is the expert. He is screaming in every industry rag that you could find. You can find this article duplicated all over every industry publication, where he is screaming, "Stop drilling now." If you are in if you were anywhere near the shale oil fields, stop drilling now. Why? because Trump has screwed our economy. We know for a fact that demand for oil is dropping and will continue to drop now because our economy is slowing. Why else? The tariffs. I want you to think about this, folks, and Russia in particular, because we're going to talk about Russia here. Russia makes its own steel. Russia makes a lot of the world's steel. It's a very dirty thing, and they don't care about being dirty. So inflation isn't hitting them. Tariffs isn't hitting them. They make their own. So their floor for their oil, their break-even point, is gone down. It hasn't gone up. It's gone down. So what's happened with our break-even point? It's gone up. Inflation and now the tariffs, because this is the way it works, folks. This is how you get, when you're drilling, this is how it works. It's not hard. It's a big metal pipe. It's 2 3/8 inches wide. 2 3/8 inches wide. It's a metal pipe. It's threaded on both ends. Female on the top, male on the bottom. On the bottom, you attach a drill bit, which is really just basically a glorified rock crusher. You screw it onto the bottom thread and you start drilling. You just spin that pipe and it chews up the rock. And then you flush the fines out. You high pressure fluids you pump down. There's different chemicals. Like I said, I'm not going to go all the details, but just imagine you got a bit spinning on a pipe, right? Then it gets down about 20 feet and you just take another piece of pipe and you screw it on because they're 31 feet long. And you screw on another one because it's threaded, female threaded on the top, male threaded on the bottom, right? Just screw on another and then start turning it again and it goes down into the ground some more. Then you take another piece of pipe, screw it on, and you just keep doing that till you hit your oil. Not complicated, but it takes steel. The pipe is steel. The rigs are steel. Tariffs are making all of that much more expensive. The chemicals, so much of the process has just gotten more and more expensive here because of idiot Trump's tariffs. At the same time that he's begging the Saudis to produce more because his people wanted that cheap gas at the pump. Mr. Knudsen, thank you for always being here, sir. Well, Trumpers will have their cheaper gas for a short while, expensive everything else, but cheap gas. But wait. Renee Larner, thank you for supporting the show. I appreciate you. I'm glad to see you new folks in here. Thank you for supporting the show. So you're following me, right? Our costs are going up. Our demand is going down. Trump is begging the Saudis and OPEC, pump as much as you can to get those gas prices as cheap as possible. I wonder who's telling them to do that. Okay? So we've got that situation here. It is decimating our domestic producers. They're already screaming, stop drilling. Okay? That's because at the Bakken, in the oil fields up north, they're already hitting their floor. Another $10, we get down to we're sinking into the 50s. Let's take a look. Let me see what oil's at right now. It's like $62 is the amalgam price right now. Yeah, $62. Still at $62. Down from 83. Trending downwards. And it's going to go down significantly more because OPEC's producing, right? $62. They're screaming. They've hit their floor. They've hit their floor in the Bakken fields. $10 more. They start hitting 50. They hit their floor in the Permian Basin. and the drilling stops there. $10 below that, that's when the Delaware Basin hits its floor. That means no drilling, layoffs everywhere, no production, no new production to replace any kind of, are you following me here? Meanwhile, let's talk about what's going on in Russia and tie this to Ukraine. You have put Putin in the position to play judo. You have given him a lifeline. And this is why. See, Putin's like Trump. He's got this image that he puts out about what he is in his country. And so he can't make a peace deal in Ukraine without getting something, without saving face. But he really wants to make one right now. And this is why. This is why. Let me explain. AJC, appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. I can't do it without you, people. I can't. I just can't do it without you. Look, Putin's got this image. He's like Trump. Everything has to be about him. Hockey season, he makes it about him. He goes out there and tells everybody he's the world's greatest hockey player. And he isn't. He is the world's worst hockey player. Every time he goes out, he makes a fool out of himself, but nobody will tell him, the emperor's got no clothes. I mean, it's just over and over and over again. He ends up getting knocked on his ass over and over and over again. People just laugh their asses off. I mean, this is literally every time he gets into a hockey match, he's just all over the ice. But there is one thing that he puts out there as part of his image about being a tough guy. And that's judo. And this is real. I mean, when it comes to actual hand-to-hand combat, Putin's a badass. He really is. This isn't like the hockey thing where he's just full of shit and ends up looking like a moron. This goes back to his KGB days. Putin can kill you with his bare hands. He really can. That dude is a physical badass. He is. I mean, he works out like a fiend. He just, he's a small guy, small stature, highly trained. He really is. Politically, also very good at political judo. He is. He dug himself into a hole with this invasion of Ukraine. But Donald Trump orchestrated this thing for him that is mind-numbingly frustrating and insanely stupid and poorly calculated. Let me explain. Monica Chappell, thank you for always telling the truth. I really enjoy your show. I thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thanks for shortening. Mr. Knudsen, I suspect Trump can make, yeah. He's kind of gross. This is the situation Putin's looking at right now. Putin can end the Ukraine war. And right now, Europe wants him to. Right now, Trump very much needs to save face and say he's got this done. There's nobody in Russia that can force Putin to do it. If this keeps going on, yeah, they'll kill him. But nobody can challenge his authority right now. So there's nobody in Russia to make him. So he's sitting in the driver's seat here because of the oil. See, Russia's floor is much lower than ours. And part of the deal that Putin can make, immediately repeal sanctions. Immediately repeal sanctions on us. And that happens, an already saturated global oil market in the middle of a financial downturn that was wholly created by Trump. Trump inherited an economy that if he had just shut the fuck up and done nothing and gone golfing, would have been great. The world economy was picking up, man. Inflation had come down. All he had to do was shut up and do nothing. But instead, he created tariff wars with everybody. He has forced a recession on us. He snatched victory. I mean, he snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. I mean, he literally created a situation now for Vladimir Putin to make peace in Ukraine, rip those tariffs off as part of the deal, or pardon me, rip those sanctions off as part of the deal, and he kills our domestic oil industry. Folks, $20, it dropped that over the last year. It is not even mildly difficult to see it drop another 20. And you know how it'll drop another 20 overnight? Peace in Ukraine. And when that happens, even down here in Texas, in the Delaware field, where it has the absolute lowest bottom, they will shut those fields down. And all of your mid-sized producers will declare bankruptcy, which will exacerbate our economic problems. Sure, we'll be drowning in cheap gasoline with nowhere to go. Folks, there's no reason for this. There's no rhyme or reason at all why this happened. There's no one, not an economist anywhere, that thought this was a good idea. Yet he did it anyways. Edith Thompson, I'm amazed at the amount of information that is available to you. Thanks for sharing it with us. Hey, this is what I do, man. This is what I do. I sit and read all the damn time. Folks, I'm not kidding. Look, what I do, and I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about everybody else that does what I do. Midas Touch, all of us are independent media. The corporate media is gone. They are gone. I'm going to show you here an example of a headline that's just mind-blowing. But they're gone. This is it. Me sitting here reading 24 hours a damn day. Well, I say 24. Sometimes it's 24 hours a day. Yesterday, I put in a 21-hour day. I went to sleep at 1, woke up at 4:30, and went right back to work. This is it. This is what you're paying me for. This is what we're doing. Just sit here. I sell my cups to fund everything so that I can earn a living, because every one of these people that you see doing what I do have to eat. They've got a wife. They've got kids, grandkids. Christmas is coming up. This is how we pay for it. So when I tell you I am grateful and you are the reason I can do this, that is no bullshit. I am incredibly grateful. You are it. There is no DNC paying me. Although if you could make that happen, that would be fantastic. You know, Republicans say that like it's a problem. You're just a paid shill for the DNC, boy. If you could get the DNC to pay me, that'd be fucking fantastic. Asborn Newts in Texas, how will the U.S. oil sector respond to Trump? They're threatening him now. You think Trump folded on China because he wanted to? He wanted to look like a fool? He wanted to lose face? Oh no, the threats have already come for Trump. He's humiliating himself on a global level. And everybody knows it. He's just literally sticking his fingers in his ears and saying, la, 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 just making it up as he goes. He's just trying to craft his own reality. And your drunk ass MAGA uncle's like, yeah, that, yeah, when the entire world can see what is happening. Skeet Sayer, thank you for always being here. Oil is in just about 97% of everything that we use, from underwear to car parts. Cheaper oil is good, but combined with tariffs, destroy any social benefit. Look, cheaper oil is good. Look, it's like this. There used to be this burger joint here in Longview, Texas, called Cheeseburger. It was called Cheeseburger. And it was the best damn burger joint I'd ever been to in my life. You could get anything. When I say that, I am not kidding. Ask Mrs. Texas Paul in the chat. It was the best damn hamburger joint I have ever seen in my life. You could get peanut butter on your hamburger if you wanted it there. It was amazing. Just amazing. I used to get a burger that had caramelized red onion on it, or pardon me, red peppers on it. That was just off the freaking hook, man. Caramelized onions, caramelized red peppers. It was amazing. And it's gone. And it's gone. Why? Prices got too low. They were selling this amazing thing, but prices got too low. So they died. It's the same thing with gas and oil. Cheap gas is great. I mean, everybody loves to fill their tank up cheap. But it will go away if it gets too cheap. It'll die. And that's exactly what's happening right now. They are sounding the alarm bells, because not only do we have a glut of oil, we have an economic disaster in front of us that's going to use none of the excess up. It's a mess, folks. And once that production is gone, it is no easy feat to get it started again, which means the Saudis and Russia now have us over the same barrel they had Europe. And I've got kudos to Macron, kudos to Keir Starmer, Prime Minister Stora. They're all saying the exact same thing. They will never go back to the situation that they were in when the Ukraine war started, where they were dependent solely on Russia for their energy. That will never happen again. We're going to be in that situation. We're going to have more oil than we know what to do with, and no way to get our hands on it, because our companies will be dead. Just like Cheeseburger went away. All of your energy companies, these small and medium energy companies that you've never heard of, will be gone. So you'll have oil under your feet and no way to get it. And you'll pay whatever Putin and the Saudis tell you to pay. They don't like our policy? Cut off the tap. Just like they did in the beginning of the Ukraine war. That is our future, folks. That is our future because of Donald Trump. 12V-Man24, thank you for being here. Glad to see new supporters here, and it's worth every penny you get for what you give. So yeah, and this is what I'm talking about. Everybody loves cheaper gas. It's good for the economy. Too cheap isn't. It isn't. Spicy Jester, this is how I know the corporate media is officially gone. When the longtime successful producer of 60 Minutes resigns because he's saying the messaging is being controlled, that's how you know. That's CBS, not Fox News. Spicy Jester, amen. We talked about that in the last show. Robin DeHood, can someone please find out if the Pittsburgh mayoral candidate running against the incumbent in the Dem primary is MAGA compromised? Guardian, U.S., and others have reported on it, but can't get conclusive info. Email me, and I'll look into it. I'll talk about it on Sunday. Okay? But yeah, I mean, it's insane. But that's what we're looking at. And I got to tell you, Putin really wants to bring an end to this. He really does want to end this war. He just can't do it and save face right now. But if he can spin to his people that ending this war hurts us, plausibly spin it, oh yeah. Oh yeah. That he'll hold on to power. The oligarchs in Russia will love him because they're going to make bank. They will make bank. Asborn Knutson, this is why investing in alternative energy is the key. Amen, brother. Amen. National security is the number one reason to invest in green energy. National security. Jason Crow, thanks for being here, brother. The reason they want to privatize everything is so there will be zero oversight or accountability for everything that they do going forward. Milk. Have you heard about milk? They fired so many people at the FDA. They cannot do. Your milk is no longer inspected. Your milk is no longer inspected. I don't have a. Let me pull one up for you. Let me pull one up for you on that. So that you know I'm going to bring the receipts. You know I'm not making that shit up. Your milk is no longer inspected. Why? Doge. That's another reason that Trump is desperate to do anything to make a deal is Doge is blowing up in his face. They have started to do the math on everything that it's costing us, all these firings. Folks, they didn't hire these people because it was Tuesday and they were bored. These people did things for a living. Like, I don't know, inspect our milk. They fired so many people at the FDA. They have stopped inspecting our milk. Google it. If you don't believe me, Google it. And what they found is so far, just so far, Doge hasn't saved us a penny, but they've cost us $135 billion because of the additional costs that are happening because of everybody they fired that actually did things for a living. You know, Ronald Reagan said government's bad. Bullshit. Government does important things. Things that save you money. Glenn Canico, major supplier of gas for in Northern California, wants to shut down the refinery outside my back door. Gas may be cheap, but only for a short time. Oh, heard Trump wants to build his hotel in Moscow. Yeah, there's so much grift and corruption. And I swear to God, he's doing this on purpose because this makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Thanks for being here, Monkey Twin 5. All of you new donors, I'm telling you, give me hope that we're going to make it. Yeah, Reagan was one of the worst presidents we have ever had. He was an actor playing president he was a puppet with a string shoved up his ass, and he just did what he told him. And the corruption is just off the hook. This is a story that's breaking today. White House gave Wall Street a tip-off on trade deal negotiations, according to a Fox reporter. Yeah, so this happened. Charles Gasparino, and they're morons. They're all morons. They're all morons. They're trying so hard to put the shit back in the horse from this, but you can't because Charles Gasparino went on Elon Musk's X and was so proud to put scoop in capital letters. People inside the Trump White House are alerting Wall Street execs they are nearing an agreement in principle on trade with India, according to my sources who are senior Wall Street executives with ties to the White House. That's a felony. That's a felony. Why are you telling your Wall Street broligarchs insider information about trade deals? And Fox is, again, backpedaling so freaking hard, trying to pretend that they didn't say exactly what they just said. Their reporter said, my sources that are Wall Street executives are telling me directly that the White House that they have ties to is telling them they've just done a trade deal with India. Think you could make a few $1 million off of that information if you had it 20 minutes before everybody else, an hour before everybody else, the day before everybody else? And Fox is trying so hard to say, well, we didn't really mean that. Yes, you did, Cletus. Yes, you did. Skeet's here. Where the F is the CIA? Man, the deep state is real, brother. The deep state is real. You had so many people that have been programmed into this Republican bullshit for so long. The deep state is real, but it's Republican. Don Huber, gasoline was cheap during the Great Depression. Amen, it was. It got the Okies who lost their farms all the way to California. I love you people. I love you people so much for just understanding history. It just, so many stupid people out there, and being able to spend time with you folks. I mean it. I love this freaking job. I love this freaking job. Richard Walker, we got number 1 Texas and little brother, and number 3 Texas and no number 4 Oklahoma. Who ya? I do not know what the hell you're talking about, brother. I do not know what that means, man. But thank you for supporting the show, and thank you for the tip of the cousin bar, Teresa. So glad you are here. So glad you are here. Thank you. But talking about Ukraine, this happened. Y'all know Kirill Budanov, right? We've talked about him before. And I just want you to compare the clownish stupidity, the moronic leadership that we have, that we just talked about, with Pete Hegseth and Trump, and just compare these morons with this guy. This is Kirill Budanov. He is the head of intelligence. Somebody asked where the CIA is. He's the head of intelligence for Ukraine. It is reported that this guy once smiled, but it's never been confirmed. This guy is badass. He is serious, and he's pissed. He's put the world on notice. Yesterday, he released a statement, and he does not release statements. Budanov does not do that. And he released a statement. Says Ukraine's spy chief vows revenge for Russian strike on Kyiv. That is not like Budanov. You know he is pissed off if he made a statement. Pavlon, Pavlon Owen, thanks for always being here, just paying attention. Thank you for supporting the show, my friend. If Budanov ever said he was pissed at me, I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't. And they are furious about those attacks on Kyiv because they were no military targets hit. They all they did was kill civilians. In an completely unrelated note, this is Balashika. You know how you have like a major city, and then there will be little satellite cities that make up the metropolitan area? Well, Balashika is a really nice suburb of Moscow. And when I say nice, I mean nice. It's on the Pokorka River. Keep these luxury apartments here on the left in mind. They're supposed to have a big meeting today in Moscow with Witkoff, and one of the guys, Major General Yaroslav Moskalik, who's the deputy commander of the operations directorate, was supposed to be putting that meeting together today. He didn't make it. When I was sipping my cup of coffee this morning, getting ready for the show, having my first cup of coffee, General Moskalik was walking to his car. From his swanky high-rise apartment in Balashika, and he didn't make it. Less than 24 hours after Budanov said, "You will pay for this," the deputy director of their operations directorate, which is central, that's their central command, folks, the Russian military central command. You're talking about one of the highest ranking members of the Russian military. Now there's video of this. If you go to Blue Sky and put in the search box Balashika, there are actual videos of this happening, of him walking to his car. I won't play it because they'll take the video down because it's pretty harsh. I mean, it's pretty harsh. He's walking up to his car and he gets within 2 feet of his car and then woof, Moskalik no more. Gone. Disintegrates. There's burned chunks of him on the ground in some of the other pictures. If you want to see the video of it happening, it's out there. It's out there. So yeah, when I say Budanov's no joke, that man is no joke. When Budanov gets pissed, generals die. Compare that to Trump, who makes up fictional stories about meetings that he can't tell us about. Sue Clark, will other countries start kicking out our military bases? Eventually, depending how, if Trump keeps being a moron, yeah, absolutely. Wouldn't you? Jeff Schuler, I wouldn't be going around any electric scooters in Moscow anytime soon. Yeah, no kidding, right? Yorkie, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you. Kirilo Budanov equals genius. He really is a smart guy. He's a freaking. I would not want that man pissed at me. I look. I'm going to tell you. There's very few people I would legitimately tell you I'm afraid of. I live out in the country. I'll see you coming. I got cameras. I'll see you coming. I'll know before you get here. I will. That man, I would not sleep if that man was pissed at me. I just wouldn't. I would sleep in a different place every night, and nobody would know where I was. Mr. Knutson, Russia will not be forgiven by Europe in generations. What side are you on, USA? Traitors or allies? Amen. I understand the sentiment. I really do. I really do. And there was no need for this. No need for any of this. None. Trump could have walked into office. He could have grifted all the money he wanted to grift. All he had to do was keep his mouth shut and not screw with anything. But no, he did this on purpose. Ken Applegate, wasn't the term deep state coined by Russia to describe why they couldn't infiltrate the U.S. in the way they wanted during the Cold War? Yeah. Yep. That's why the Republicans use the term all the time. It's a Russian talking point. But yeah, just so you know, this is Yaroslav Moskalik and what's left of his car. And again, like I said, if you want to see the video, you see the walkway right here. This walkway on the left side of the screen. You can actually watch him walk up to that car and then gone. Fuck around and find out, people. You want to bomb civilians in Ukraine, you might die. But that's not the end of it. And when I say they're done, I mean they're done. I mean it, folks. Trump's done. Even the stupid people understand this. Now, we just had a conversation, a complex conversation about oil that the stupids are not going to understand. They're not. They're going to, you got Trump derangement system because how can you complain about cheap gas? The stupids aren't going to understand that. I tell you, we're not the same. You are better than those people. You could understand complex situations. You get that. They don't. They don't. But you know what they do understand? They understand dying of measles. This one's not complex. The CDC did a study. They did the math. It wasn't a study. They just crunched some numbers. I said that wrong. I apologize. Take it back. They just crunched the numbers and released this report. Millions of U.S. measles cases forecast over 25 years if shots decline. And what they're talking about is this. This is the trend in vaccinations here in the United States. Now, when I told you earlier that there's a headline that I wanted to talk to you about that is just explaining that the corporate media is gone and we cannot rely on them, this information, hey, that's pretty easy to understand, right? Vaccinations are dropping for measles, polio, whooping cough. The diseases are on the rise. This is just math. You know, this isn't hard. This is math. We know how many people get infected. We know how many cases we have each year. We know what happens when you kids don't get vaccinated. They can just do the math and say, you know what? If vaccination rates stay the same, we're going to have a couple 100,000 cases of measles over the next 25 years. If vaccination trends continue to drop like they are here, over the next 25 years, we will have millions of measles cases here. Think about how much that's going to cost. Before you even talk about the number of lives lost and the number of lives completely 100% altered because of, measles doesn't have to kill you to ruin your life. It can cause blindness. Sorry about that. Something happened with the server. That wasn't me. But yeah, this is just math. They can extrapolate how many people we're going to lose. And it's in the millions if this continues. Now, what I'm just furious about the corporate media and telling you why it's so important that you support not just me. It's not all about me. I mean, just everybody. Midas, independent media. Stop supporting the corporate media and support independent media, because the headline on this article was "Stop blaming Robert F. Kennedy." This was happening before he got here. I'm not kidding. As though Robert F. Kennedy didn't come from the anti-vaxxer movement that is 100% responsible for this. He was doing this before he ever got into office. Him and everyone like him. The reason vaccination rates are falling isn't us. It's the stupids. It's the MAGA stupids. And where did they get their information from? People like Robert Kennedy Jr. and all the rest of the anti-vaxxers that are out there. Folks, people understand that. They understand kids dying of measles. They may not get that cheap oil in the short term is bad for them because of what happens in the long term. They understand more and more kids will die every year over the Trump regime stupidity. Mr. Knutson, it's sad people don't get vaccinated, survival of the fittest, but then you got the immune compromised in the mix. I know. People through no fault of their own are going to end up casualties of this. We will not only lose the stupid. I know. That's the damn shame of it. It really is the damn shame of it. It is. Look, we got another story that's breaking that people are in full freakout mode, and I don't want you to be in freakout mode over this. I really don't. Is it bad? Yes, it's bad. This is not a good thing. Is it devastating? No, it is not, because Trump is over. Trump is over. He is done. They can do this, and they're going to lose. Trump's going up after Act Blue. They're going to try to cripple us before the midterm elections. So he's ordered Pam Bondi to go after Act Blue. I know I'm pixelated. I'm sorry. Just the Texas infrastructure, for some reason, we took a hit. Here, I can try another. Let me try another one. Hang in there, guys. Hang in there. Give me a minute to switch connections. It'll take me 30 seconds. And yes, God, I love you people that are so informed. Yeah, we're having solar flares. This one isn't. I love to blame this on Republicans here in Texas, but yeah, this is actually solar flares that's been causing this. Maybe I can get a better connection. Hold on. Getting any better? Nope, not. Definitely not. All right. Like I said, hang in there. All right. Let me fire this up, see if we can. Oh, sorry about the delay, folks. Well, the good news is we're getting near the end of the show. Good news is we're getting near the end of the show. So, yeah, I had to go to the third system. Even the second backup system was being killed by the storms. I'm sure I'm a little pixelated. I'm sure the resolution is not that great, but we're doing all that we can here, folks. We are. We're down to the last two stories, so let's just knock them out real quick. First of all, this happened. Ken Martin over at the DNC had a come to Jesus meeting with David Hogg. David Hogg's very popular with a lot of people, and a lot of people were glad to see some new blood get into the Democratic National Committee. But, you know, I've always warned you people about people with experience matter. You know, the old timers, a lot of people like to bitch about the old party and this, that, and the other. But it matters. It matters. Experience matters. And David Hogg just ran face first into that situation. He did. I mean, it's good to have young blood. It's good to have fired up young people. It's good to have people that are ready to break the mold, but you have to have experience and know what you're doing. And David Hogg screwed up. He did. See, he was making pretty good bank running a PAC, a political action committee. It was very popular. A lot of people supported it. But the problem is you can't do that and be part of the DNC. You just can't. You can't. It's against the rules. You know, a lot of people accuse the DNC of putting their thumbs on the scale, trying to force candidates on us and stuff. No, they're very, very vehement about not doing that. So when David Hogg became part of the DNC, he had to give up his PAC, but he didn't. He was out there promoting and funding candidates while part of the DNC, and that's a no-no. You can't do that. You got to choose one or the other. Laura Yates, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. You just can't do that. And he's going to have to make a choice. Is he going to want that fat, cushy job running that PAC? Or does he want to be part of the DNC? You can't have both. You can't do both. It's against the rules. And he's been given an ultimatum to choose. We'll see which way he goes. The ball's in his court now. But Ken Martin was vehement about this. This is not something that they're just going to let go on and on and on. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. They will, if he doesn't voluntarily quit either the DNC or quit his PAC, which I can't see him doing, folks. I think he's going to have to resign from the DNC. He made commitments to these candidates to be there to financially back these candidates. But you can't do both. And it is not the Democratic Party's fault. It's just the way it is. You cannot do both. You cannot put your fingers on the scale in these races if you're part of the DNC. You have to be a neutral arbiter. It's just the rules. It's the way it is. So, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to try to get clicks and try to form up circular firing squads because David Hogg's getting an ultimatum. But they're not doing anything to David to David Hogg. They're just making him follow the same rules as everyone else. No, he ran for and won a spot in the Democratic National Committee. He became part of the party management. And you can't run a PAC that supports candidates and be part of the party management. That is against the rules. I mean, think about how pissed you would be if you found out that, hey, you had a candidate that you really liked, but they never stood a chance because somebody that worked in the DNC was actually funding and working with the other candidate. You would be pissed. But let's see what kind of circular firing squads the worst among us try to come up with over this when the party's doing absolutely the right thing here. 100%. And of course, there's this. Trump is going after Act Blue. Folks, there's a reason there was a firewall between the Department of Justice and the president. There was a reason for that. There's a reason you get special prosecutors. And it's this. It's this. The Republican version of Act Blue has 7 times the complaints filed against it than Act Blue does. Act Blue runs a very, very, very clean, tight ship. And I love their response to this. And again, a lot of people are doomsaying over this. I am not. I'm telling you, this is going to be fine. They're going to try to make some shit up. They're going to try to, for their base. That's it. But Act Blue has said, bring it. Investigate all you want. Our books are clean. Our books are open. We'll walk you right through them. And Pam Bondi is absolutely doing it. She's going to do it. She's going to take your tax money, my tax money, and she's going to send special agents to go take a look when there are no alleged crimes to investigate. Just investigate my opponent is all this is. You know, when I tell you there are red lines there that they can't cross, these are the kind of things I'm talking about. If they try to act against Act Blue, yeah, that's a red line. That's when the fight starts. And I don't mean a verbal fight. But yeah, I'm not concerned about this. I am not. Act Blue has their shit together. They've got good lawyers. They've done nothing wrong. They're legitimate. Investigate all you want. It'll be meaningless. It'll be meaningless in the long run. But you will get a lot of people on our side of the aisle that will try to sell clicks and get you excited, get some support by trying to say, oh my God, that's it. They're going to kill us. We're not going to be able to compete and we're not going to be able. That's not true. None of that is true. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Because I'm telling you, Act Blue is a good organization. And this is 100% true. LC1, 100%. He wants the donor list from Act Blue. He does. Act Blue is going to have to do a good job in court. They really are going to have to do a good job in court. Well, look, folks, the internet's gone to shit, and that's all I've got for you today. So enjoy some Texas cities at night.